In this video, I'm going to talk about CIS30A Lab 4, Exercise 11. In this exercise, we will be working on a program that contains multi-level inheritance. The first class is going to be the base class, which is school, and that class will have school name attribute. The second class is in the intermediate or child class called course, and this class is going to contain course name attribute. The third class is going to be the derived class or grandchild. That's going to be room, and it's going to contain classroom number attribute. And we are to create object that will display Intro to Python, Room 16, and MVC. You need to provide screen capture of script and output for the program. So to start, we would have to declare the first class, and that's school. Here we're going to use init to construct the members. So here what we have is we have init and we have school name, and we would put none. Next, we're going to have another method called show school, and this member method is going to be containing it's going to display the school name. So for the school class, we simply have the school name information, and we're going to use show school method, which is a member method, to display the school name. And this is the base class, the parent class. The second class is course, and it is a child of the school class, so you put school in the parentheses here in the parameter. And since it is a subclass, we're going to use super method here, and we have the init, self, and super method dot init. Then we want to have the instance variable course name, and we would put none here because we would use the object to assign the string later on. Then we have a member method of the course class called show course, and under show course we want to print course name. Then we have a third class called room, and this class is a subclass of the child. So this is a grandchild, room is a grandchild, and it is a subclass of course, so we put course in its parameter here. Then we have init, self, then we have the super method dot init, which shows that it is a subclass, so it's going to inherit from the course, and course is going to inherit from school. Then in room we have a member variable called room number, and we would leave it as none. Then we have a member method under room called show room, and it's going to print room number. So after we declared and define the classes, as we would have multi-level inheritance, then we would create an object, and our object is going to be C1. And you can name your object anything you like. So usually you would see that they would use a letter or a letter with a number. So here I choose to use C1, and C1 is the object of room, which is the third class, the grandchild. And for the object, we're going to go ahead and access school name, and notice that school name is part of the base class, and we would go ahead and have the assignment here, and we are going to have MVC for the school name. You can put RCC or Norco, but in this case what we did was we created the object, and then we would access the attribute and assign value to that attribute. Then next we would use the object dot course name. Now we're going to access the course name, which comes from the second class course, which is the child of school and the parent of room. So you would have course name, and we would assign it Intro to Python. We can call it English, we can call it physics, whatever you like there. But in the assignment, it asks us to use MVC for school name, and course name is Intro to Python. Then third, we have the object C1, and we're accessing room number that comes from the third classroom, and we would assign it 16. So after we have accessed the attributes, then we would use the object to access the method. Then we would use C1.showSchool, so that way we can display the school name, and show school comes from the first class school. Okay. Then next we would use the object to access the second method from the second class, which is show course. And so we simply put C1.showCourse. Then last we would have the object, and we would use dot to access the third method, comes from its own class, which is showroom. So we would use C1.showroom. And within this, what we have is we created the object, we are accessing the attributes, and after we created the object, we access the attributes, and we would assign value to the attributes. Then we would use the object to access the method, which we previously defined in the class, and we would have multi-level inheritance as course inherit from school and room inherits from course. So when I run this, it would show me the school name, MVC, the course name, Intro to Python, and the room number 16. So just to wrap up what we talked about is for exercise 11, we're required to do 3 classes, and we have to have multi-level inheritance. The base class needs to be school. We would have the school name as the variable, and we define the method show school in the school class. We had a second class called course. It is the child of school or the intermediate class, so it inherits from school. So that means that we have to use the super method, and we use super.init. And in the course class, we have the member variable course name. And we also have member method show course. And we simply print in that method. The third class we have is room, and this is the grandchild, and it inherits from course. And since it is a subclass of course, we would use the super.init, and we would have the member variable room number and the member method show room to print the room number. After we define our classes, then we create the object called C1. It is an object of the third class room. Then we would use that object to access school name, course name, and room number. And school name comes from the first, which is base class. Course name comes from the intermediate class, which is the child class. And room number comes from the third class. Then we also use the object to access the methods, which was defined in school, course, and room subsequently. So after we have used the object to access the member variables and methods to really access the properties, right? So what we have is we print MVC intro to Python and 16, and we meet the objective of the exercise. And this concludes my video for CIS30A Lab 4 Exercise 11.